Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, a staunch ally of former President Donald Trump, has been acquitted of all corruption charges at his impeachment trial. The verdict on Saturday reaffirmed Paxton's durability in America's biggest red state, and put an indicted incumbent who remains under FBI investigation back into office. Paxton was impeached by the Texas House of Representatives in May on 16 articles of impeachment, including misconduct, bribery, obstruction of justice, and abuse of public trust. The charges stemmed from allegations that he granted favors to a wealthy donor, used public funds to retaliate against whistleblowers on his staff, and had an extramarital affair with a woman he hired as a legal advisor. The Texas Senate, which is also controlled by Republicans, voted to acquit Paxton on all counts after a 2-week trial that featured more than 100 witnesses and hours of testimony. Only 2 Republican senators voted to convict Paxton on any of the charges, while the rest of the GOP caucus stood by him despite the evidence and testimony against him. Paxton declared his innocence and called the impeachment a politically motivated sham orchestrated by radical left Democrats, criminals, and disloyal Republicans. Paxton is one of Trump's most loyal supporters in Texas, backing his false claims of election fraud, and leading a lawsuit to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in 4 battleground states. The impeachment divided the Republican Party in Texas between a pro-Trump faction and more traditional conservatives who wanted to hold Paxton accountable for his actions. The impeachment process began in February when 7 senior officials in Paxton's office filed a whistleblower complaint accusing him of abusing his power and violating state and federal laws. The whistleblowers alleged that Paxton intervened in legal matters to benefit Nate Paul, a real estate developer and major donor who gave $25,000 to Paxton's 2018 re-election campaign. They also claimed that Paxton hired an outside lawyer to investigate Paul's allegations of wrongdoing by federal and state authorities who raided his home and office in 2019. The whistleblowers said that Paxton's actions were improper, unethical, and potentially criminal, and that they faced retaliation from him when they reported their concerns to law enforcement agencies. In addition, the whistleblowers revealed that Paxton had an affair with a woman named Lauren Melendez, whom he hired as a special counsel in his office and paid $300 an hour with public funds. The whistleblowers said that Paxton directed legal work and benefits to Melendez, who was also involved in Paul's legal matters. The whistleblowers sued Paxton for wrongful termination, whistleblower retaliation, and civil rights violations. They also cooperated with the FBI, which opened a criminal investigation into Paxton's conduct. In May, more than 60 Republicans in the Texas House joined Democrats to impeach Paxton on 16 counts based on the whistleblowers' allegations and other evidence. The impeachment marked the first time in Texas history that a statewide elected official faced removal from office by the legislature. The trial began on September 4 in the Texas Senate, where Paxton faced a 2/3 majority vote to be convicted and removed from office. The trial was presided over by Chief Justice Nathan Hecht of the Texas Supreme Court, who was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott, a close ally of Paxton. The prosecution was led by Representative Chris Turner, a Democrat who chaired the House committee that drafted the articles of impeachment. He argued that Paxton betrayed his oath of office and violated the public trust by using his power for personal gain and covering up his misdeeds. The defense was led by Senator Brian Hughes, a Republican who is one of Paxton's closest friends and allies. He argued that Paxton did nothing wrong and that the impeachment was a political witch hunt driven by partisan motives and personal vendettas. The trial featured testimony from current and former officials in Paxton's office, law enforcement agents, legal experts, journalists, and others who had knowledge or involvement in the case. Some of the key witnesses included Jeff Mater, Paxton's former top deputy who resigned after filing the whistleblower complaint. He testified that Paxton repeatedly abused his authority and ignored legal advice to help Paul with his disputes with federal and state agencies. He also said that Paxton admitted to having an affair with Melendez and tried to conceal it from his staff and wife. Nate Paul, the real estate developer who was at the center of the scandal. He testified that he had a close friendship with Paxton and that he sought his help with various legal issues. He denied any wrongdoing or quid pro quo arrangement with Paxton. He also said that he did not know Melendez or have any business relationship with her. Lauren Melendez, the woman who had an affair with Paxton and worked as a special counsel in his office. She testified that she met Paxton in 2018 at a Republican fundraiser, and that they began a romantic relationship in 2019. She said that Paxton hired her as a legal advisor and paid her with public funds. She also said that she worked on Paul's legal matters and received benefits from him, such as a luxury apartment and a car. Angela Paxton, Paxton's wife and a state senator. She testified that she learned about her husband's affair with Melendez in 2020 and that she was devastated by his betrayal. She said that she tried to save their marriage and that she supported him throughout the impeachment process. She also said that she did not know anything about his dealings with Paul or the whistleblowers. Donald Trump, the former president who endorsed Paxton and praised his loyalty. He testified via video call from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. He said that Paxton was a great attorney general and a true patriot who fought for him and the American people. He said that the impeachment was a hoax and a disgrace and that he hoped the Senate would acquit him. The trial ended on September 16 with closing arguments from both sides. The prosecution urged the senators to uphold the rule of law and the integrity of the office of Attorney General by convicting Paxton and removing him from office. The defense urged the senators to respect the will of the voters and the presumption of innocence by acquitting Paxton and letting him continue his work. The Senate voted on September 17 on each of the 16 articles of impeachment. The results were as follows: Article 1, misconduct in office for intervening in legal matters to benefit Nate Paul. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 2, bribery for soliciting and accepting campaign contributions from Nate Paul in exchange for official favors. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 3, obstruction of justice for impeding or interfering with investigations into his conduct by federal and state authorities. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 4, abuse of public trust, for using public funds to hire an outside lawyer to investigate Nate Paul's allegations without proper authorization or oversight. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 5, abuse of public trust for using public funds to pay Lauren Melendez as a special counsel without proper authorization or oversight. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 6, abuse of public trust for directing legal work and benefits to Lauren Melendez while having an extramarital affair with her. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 7, abuse of public trust for concealing his affair with Lauren Melendez from his staff, his wife, and the public. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 8, abuse of public trust for failing to disclose his relationship with Nate Paul and Lauren Melendez as potential conflicts of interest in his official duties. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 9, misconduct in office for retaliating against whistleblowers on his staff who reported his conduct to law enforcement agencies. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 10, misconduct in office for terminating or demoting whistleblowers on his staff who reported his conduct to law enforcement agencies. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 11, misconduct in office, for creating a hostile work environment for whistleblowers on his staff who reported his conduct to law enforcement agencies. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 12, misconduct in office for violating state whistleblower protection laws, by retaliating against whistleblowers on his staff who reported his conduct to law enforcement agencies. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 13, misconduct in office for violating state ethics laws, by soliciting and accepting campaign contributions from Nate Paul while intervening in legal matters to benefit him. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 14, misconduct in office for violating state ethics laws by using public funds to pay Lauren Melendez as a special counsel, while having an extramarital affair with her. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 15, misconduct in office for violating state ethics laws by directing legal work and benefits to Lauren Melendez, while having an extramarital affair with her. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. Article 16, misconduct in office for violating state ethics laws by concealing his affair with Lauren Melendez from his staff, his wife, and the public. Vote, 18 to 13, not guilty. The only two Republican senators who voted to convict Paxton on any of the charges were Kel Seliger of Amarillo and Jane Nelson of Flower Mound, both of whom are senior members of the Senate and have clashed with Paxton in the past over policy and budget issues. They said that they were convinced by the evidence and testimony that Paxton violated his oath of office and betrayed the public trust. The acquittal of Paxton was met with mixed reactions from legal experts and political analysts, who offered different interpretations and implications of the verdict. Some experts said that the acquittal was a victory for Paxton and a vindication of his innocence. They said that the impeachment was a baseless and partisan attack on a popular and effective attorney general, who stood up for conservative values and defended Texas against federal overreach. Other experts said that the acquittal was a failure of justice and a reflection of the polarization and corruption in Texas politics. They said that the impeachment was a legitimate and necessary attempt to hold Paxton accountable for his serious and criminal misconduct, which undermined the rule of law and the integrity of the office of Attorney General. Some experts said that the acquittal was a result of the political dynamics and calculations in the Texas Senate, where Republicans had a majority and a loyalty to Paxton. They said that the senators were influenced by Paxton's popularity among the Republican base, his endorsement by Trump, and his potential run for governor in 2024. Other experts said that the acquittal was a consequence of the legal standards and procedures in the impeachment trial, where Paxton had a presumption of innocence and a high burden of proof. They said that the senators were bound by the evidence and testimony presented at the trial, which did not meet the threshold to convict Paxton beyond a reasonable doubt. The acquittal of Paxton has significant impacts and relevance for individuals, communities, and broader society in Texas and beyond. For Paxton, the acquittal means that he can resume his duties as Attorney General without facing removal from office or disqualification from future office. He can also continue his legal battles with the FBI, the whistleblowers, and other lawsuits related to his conduct. He can also pursue his political ambitions, such as running for governor or higher office in 2024. For Paul, Melendez, and the whistleblowers, the acquittal means that they still face legal challenges and uncertainties related to their involvement in the scandal. They may face civil or criminal charges, lawsuits, or investigations from federal or state authorities. They may also face public scrutiny or backlash for their roles in the case. For Angela Paxton, the acquittal means that she still faces personal and professional difficulties related to her husband's affair and misconduct. She may face marital problems, emotional distress, or loss of trust from her husband. She may also face political problems, such as conflicts of interest, criticism, or pressure from her colleagues or constituents. For Trump, the acquittal means that he still has a loyal ally and supporter in Texas, one of the most important states for his political comeback. He may also have a potential candidate or running mate for his presidential bid in 2024. For Abbott, the acquittal means that he still has a rival and challenger in Texas, one of the most powerful states for his gubernatorial re-election. He may also have a potential opponent or threat for his presidential aspirations in 2024. For Texas Republicans, the acquittal means that they still have a divided and fractured party in Texas, one of the most influential states for their national agenda. They may also have a controversial and polarizing figure for their leadership or representation in 2024. For Texas Democrats, the acquittal means that they still have an opportunity and target in Texas, one of the most competitive states for their electoral prospects. They may also have a vulnerable and unpopular opponent for their campaigns or challenges in 2024. For Texas citizens, the acquittal means that they still have an embattled and indicted Attorney General in Texas, one of the most consequential states for their rights and interests. They may also have a compromised and questionable authority for their legal services or protection in 2024. The acquittal of Paxton elicited various reactions from stakeholders, public figures, or those affected by the news. Some of the notable reactions are: Paxton himself expressed his gratitude and relief after the verdict. He said that he was honored and humbled by the support of his family, friends, and colleagues. He also said that he was vindicated and exonerated by the jury of his peers. He vowed to continue his work as Attorney General and to fight for the people of Texas. Paul, Melendez, and the whistleblowers did not comment publicly on the outcome of the trial. Their lawyers said that they respected the decision of the Senate, but they maintained that their clients were truthful and courageous in exposing Paxton's misconduct. They also said that they would pursue their legal actions against Paxton in other venues. Angela Paxton said that she was proud and thankful for her husband's acquittal. She said that she stood by him throughout the ordeal and that she believed in his innocence. She also said that she hoped to move on from the scandal and to focus on her family and her work as a senator. Trump congratulated Paxton on his acquittal and praised him as a great patriot and a great friend. He said that Paxton was a victim of a witch hunt and that he was glad to see justice prevail. He also said that he looked forward to working with Paxton in the future and that he endorsed him for any office he wanted to run for. Abbott did not comment directly on Paxton's acquittal, but he issued a statement saying that he respected the constitutional process of impeachment and that he trusted the judgment of the Senate. He also said that he expected all elected officials to uphold the highest standards of conduct and ethics in their office. Turner, the lead prosecutor, expressed his disappointment and frustration with the verdict. He said that he was shocked and appalled by the lack of accountability and integrity in the Senate. He also said that he was saddened and outraged by the injustice done to the people of Texas. He thanked the whistleblowers for their bravery and service, and he urged the FBI to continue its investigation into Paxton's conduct. Hughes, the lead defense attorney, expressed his satisfaction and joy with the verdict. He said that he was delighted and honored to represent Paxton and to defend his rights. He also said that he was pleased and proud of the outcome of the trial. He congratulated Paxton for his victory and resilience, and he dismissed the impeachment as a political stunt and a waste of time. The acquittal of Paxton is not the end of his legal troubles, as he still faces other charges and investigations related to his conduct. Paxton has been under indictment since 2015 on state securities fraud charges, accused of misleading investors in a technology company before he became Attorney General. He has pleaded not guilty and has delayed his trial for years, claiming that the case is politically motivated and that he is innocent. Paxton is also under investigation by the FBI for possible federal crimes related to his dealings with Paul and Melendez. The FBI has not confirmed or denied the existence of the investigation, but it has reportedly interviewed several witnesses and obtained documents and evidence related to the case. Paxton is also facing several lawsuits from the whistleblowers, who are seeking damages and reinstatement to their jobs. The lawsuits allege that Paxton violated their civil rights and state whistleblower protection laws by retaliating against them for reporting his misconduct. Paxton is also facing several lawsuits from other parties, such as environmental groups, civil rights organizations, and media outlets, who have challenged his actions or policies as Attorney General. Some of the lawsuits involve his efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results, his opposition to the Affordable Care Act, his enforcement of immigration laws, and his denial of public records requests. The acquittal of Paxton has important implications for the future of Texas politics and governance, as well as the national landscape and discourse. For Paxton, the acquittal boosts his chances of winning re-election as Attorney General in 2024, or running for higher office such as governor or senator. He has already announced his intention to seek a third term as Attorney General, and he has hinted at a possible challenge to Abbott in the Republican primary for governor. He has also received encouragement from Trump and his supporters to run for higher office, as they see him as a loyal ally and a potential successor. For Abbott, the acquittal poses a threat to his re-election bid as governor in 2024, or his ambition to run for president in 2024 or later. He has already faced criticism from some conservatives for his handling of the coronavirus pandemic, the winter storm crisis, and other issues. He may also face a formidable opponent in Paxton, who could appeal to the more populist and nationalist wing of the Republican Party. For Texas Republicans, the acquittal creates a dilemma and a division within their party, as they have to choose between supporting or opposing Paxton in 2024. They may also have to deal with the consequences of having an indicted and controversial Attorney General as their leader, or representative in 2024. For Texas Democrats, the acquittal offers an opportunity and a challenge for their party, as they have to capitalize on Paxton's unpopularity and vulnerability in 2024. They may also have to overcome the disadvantages of being in the minority and facing a strong Republican base in 2024. For Texas citizens, the acquittal raises questions and concerns about their trust and confidence in their Attorney General, and their government in 2024. they may also have to face the impacts of Paxton's actions or policies on their rights and interests in 2024. The acquittal of Paxton is a remarkable and unprecedented event in Texas history, as it marks the first time that a statewide elected official has survived an impeachment trial by the legislature. The verdict reflects the political realities and complexities in Texas, where Republicans dominate the state government but are divided among themselves over loyalty to Trump and Paxton. The outcome also affects the legal fate and political future of Paxton, who still faces multiple charges and investigations related to his conduct, but also has ambitions to run for higher office in 2024. The implications are significant and far-reaching for Texas politics and governance, as well as the national landscape and discourse, as Paxton remains a controversial and influential figure in America's biggest red state.